Hello, it's me, the Wild Witch again. Right, I just thought I'd do a little kind of getting to know me kind of thing. So I've agreed to do the, let's have a look, which one was it now? I've got a little notebook that I've noted things down. So I'm sure I can find the Darkling Tag in here. I wrote down all the questions. Let's have a look. Darkling Tag. Yes, there we go. This was put online by Victor Morgore and Lygia Resurrected and also the Kilted Goth. So just say hello to those people. And yes, so here we go, the Darkling Tag. What is your favourite candle scent? Well, that's quite a tricky one. I like all kinds of candle scents. Must admit, one of my favourites have got to be the pumpkin-y spice ones. I've got a lovely like triple layered one and it's got sort of different autumnal scents in and I really like that. Obviously it's something that I tend not to burn candles in the summer. I tend to burn them more in the winter when it's really dark, just to kind of add a nice little glow to everything. So yeah, I kind of pumpkin-y spicy ones, I think. Yeah, autumnal spicy are probably my favourite. I tend not to go for the fruity ones or the floral ones because they tend to be a bit overpowering, I think. So yeah, sort of a spicy one, yeah. So, do you have a favourite book? I have lots of favourite books. I have loads of books. I'm an avid book eater. I devour books. Mainly, I like to read non-fiction. So, I like to read autobiographies and just stuff about the world in general. So yeah, including a lot of sort of history and mystery type of things, alternative history, and also a few conspiracy books as well. I believe it's good to be educated about all kinds of things, so I like all sorts of books. I've always been a reader. I started reading when I was about 3, and it's something that I've passed on to my girls as well. As my girls read a lot as well. So yeah, I love books. I have a lot of books. I also like crafty books, mainly ones with knitting and crochet patterns in, because I like a bit of crafty stuff. Yeah. Are you a tea or a coffee person? It depends on my mood. I like to have a cup of tea first thing in the morning, more so than coffee. Although I tend to go through phases. Sometimes I really like tea and sometimes I really like coffee. At the moment I'm going through a kind of barley cup phase, where I'm having trying to have as little caffeine as possible, really trying to cut my caffeine down. So I'm going for the sort of coffee alternatives. But nothing beats a nice cup of tea or coffee. Yeah, I like my tea weak and insipid though, but I like my coffee quite strong. So I'm a bit of a dichotomy there. But you know, hey, that's just me. So, what is your favourite brand and colour of lipstick? I can't tell you because I like to try so many different kinds. I quite like some of the ones done by the Body Shop, although the colours are not quite as what I would like to see. I quite like the texture of them and the fact that they last quite well. I quite like Avon lipsticks because they tend to last quite well. Honestly, I don't really know. I kind of go through phases where I buy a lipstick and I'll wear it for a while and then I'll kind of ditch it and try something else. I'm a bit like that. I like to try lots of different ones. So the one I'm wearing at the moment is a Hello Kitty one that I picked up in Poundland. It's called Hitting the something. I can't remember the rest of it, but yeah, I was hoping it would be more of a sort of dusky pink, but it's come out kind of brown colour, but I'm not complaining, you know, it looks okay. So anyway, yeah, what is your favourite perfume or cologne? Well, I love to smell nice. My absolute favourite, or one of my absolute favourites, is Spellbound by Estee Lauder. I absolutely love it. I also quite like the new Black Opium by Christian Dior. It's one that I've not bought, but I was intrigued by a few people online saying that they really liked it. So I sprayed a little bit of it on one of those little sticks that you get from Boots, and I just fell in love with it instantly. I like quite heady scents that are quite overpowering and quite hypnotic and mystical. So yeah, I like lots of different scents. I like incenses and things. So yeah, I like to go for something that's quite strong and quite, well, nice, you know, really kind of intoxicating, shall we say. Yeah, that's the sort of sense that I go for. Do you have a celebrity crush? Well, seeing as I don't really follow a lot of celebrities, no. Well, I don't follow any celebrities really. I really don't do TV and the media culture at all. I'm quite anti-establishment in some respects in that, you know, in that side of things. I don't really watch TV, so I don't really have a celebrity crush or a film crush or anything like that. You know, I like to see actors and so on who are very versatile and can portray a lot of different characters. So I might fall in love with a character. I might say a character's really interesting, but I don't have a celebrity crush as such. Would you give up the colour black? Probably not, because it covers a multitude of sins and it just goes with everything. So no, I don't think I'll give up the colour black. What colour would you choose instead of black? Well, then it's got to be purple. Purple is probably my second favourite colour. Well, no, purple is my favourite colour. So yeah, so purple, dark red, greens, anything really. I'll try anything, even blue, you know. I'm not a stick in the mud, gotta wear black all the time person. I like to wear black. I like to wear black a lot. It's incredibly flattering. But I like to wear lots of different colours too, because I'm getting on a bit, you know. We have to expand ourselves sometimes and try different things. So, if you could change your name to a stereotypical 90s, 2000 gothy name, what would it be? I don't know. Is there a stereotypical goth name from that time or at all, really? I don't know. I think that's a bit of a silly question. So, what are your top tips at surviving hot weather while black clad? Wear lots of cool clothes, yeah? If it's really, really hot, don't necessarily cover up or wear very light floaty clothes. Clothes that are comfortable, thin cottons and linens and stuff like that. And don't worry about how you look, you know? Don't be so hung up on you've got to wear all the layers and you've got to look so dark and mystical and mysterious. You know, you can do it, but you know, it's okay. And hey, a lot of Arabian people can't be wrong. You know, in the deserts, there's a lot of people who wear black, you know. So just light and floaty is my advice. If you're not going to give up the dark clothes, wear light and floaty. So, what song will always make you happy? Well, there are so many songs out there, aren't there? There are just so many. One that will always make me happy. Gosh, it's quite a tough one. I suppose probably something by The Cure or probably, I don't know. My ultimate go-to song, I think, is Spellbound by Susie and the Banshees. That's one that I can listen to forever. I just love it to bits. I just think it's fantastic. So, are you active in the arts? Yeah, I am. I'm a singer, so I sing in an acoustic duo called Rain, and I'm also in the process of forming a goth band and doing some other work with other people as well. I like quite a bit of jazz, so I'm doing some jazz stuff with people too. So I'm doing a lot of fingers and lots of pies. So yeah, I'm involved in the arts as regards singing. I like to make and create anyway. I do paint now and again. Not very often though, but I do like to be creative. So yeah, I'm an atypical creative person. If you had a teacup or mug made inscribed just for you, what will you have it say? Well, I think that would have to say Wild Witch on it. Yeah, without a doubt, it would have to say Wild Witch's mug, hands off, it's all mine. And it would have to be big, because if I have a drink, I like to have a lot of drink. I don't like to have a little itty bitty glass or a little itty bitty cup or something. I like to have a lot. So my mug would have to be a big mug. Yeah, and it'd have to say Wild Witch, hands off, it's all mine. What is your number one non-gothy hobby? Well, non-gothy hobby. Okay, so I knit and I crochet, but I also spin my own yarn sometimes too. So those are quite non-gothy things, I suppose. You know, it's not very reminiscent of moonlit graveyards or castles, you know, barren castles on hilltops. It's very much a stay-at-home kind of hobby, but I like it. I enjoy it. If you could be a supernatural creature, what would you be and why? It'd have to be a vampire. I'm sorry to be so stereotypical, but it would have to be a vampire. Yeah, I like the whole fangs thing. I even looked into getting my own fangs at one time. I asked a dentist about it and contemplated having some made to go over the top of my teeth, but I never got around to it. It's one of those things that I would say I'll get around to it one day, and I never did. So there's time yet, I suppose, but no, I never did. What horror monster based superpower would you have? Invisibility. I quite like the idea of being invisible, or being like a mist that kind of floats around. Looks a bit spooky. Yeah. Do you feel confident or comfortable talking with other goths online or in the real world? Why or not? I do feel comfortable talking to other goths online and in the real world. And I have done for quite a while, you know. Something that comes with age, I think. You know, you recognise the people that are interested in the same things as you, and you become, you know, you have stuff to talk about because it's stuff that you're interested in. If it was something that you were not interested in, then you wouldn't talk about it, would you? So, you know, hey, you know. What is more important for a look? Great hair or great makeup? Oof, tough one. I've got to say a bit of both. It's good to have great hair. It really is. My hair is not so great at the moment. I've recently kind of coloured it again. I've put a directions colour on it just to kind of boost the colour a bit. Anyway, I'll go into that another time. But yeah, it's got to be a bit of both, makeup and hair. You know, stunning makeup can look great, but without the hair as well, it can look a bit bleh, you know. Is there something you wish there was more of in your subculture? Do you know what? I think that the one thing about the Gothic subculture is that we are rewriting what being a subculture is about as we're aging as well. Certainly some of us are getting older. We're redefining what that means. So there's, you know, while younger people are getting into it, which is great, and I wholeheartedly support young people who are developing an interest in the Gothic subculture, that there is a, you know, that I wish there was less, you know, bitchiness. I mean, there are some bitchy people around. Hang on, the postman's just there. Oh, look, he didn't see. That's okay. He's got his head in his paperwork. Cut that bit out. Care to share an embarrassing story related to your darkness? Embarrassing story. There was one particular one that's quite embarrassing, I suppose. I was dressed up for a night out. I was in Stockport, when I lived in Stockport, and I was just at the cash point. And I was all dressed up with my pike boots on and my hair all backcombed and everything, and my makeup all done, looking every ounce the, you know, drippy, hippie, lace-clad goth that I was in those days. And I was just at the cash point, just doing nothing, and a guy came up to me and he said, "Oh my God, it's you." And I went, "Who? What?" And he said, "It's Martin McCutcheon." And I looked at him and I said, you got the wrong girl. It's not Martine McCutcheon, I'm afraid. And I was about 27 at the time or something, 28. About 27, something like that. And I couldn't believe it. This guy thought that I was Martine, honestly thought that I was Martine McCutcheon. I don't look anything like Martine McCutcheon, but he was convinced that I was Martine McCutcheon. And the fact that Martine McCutcheon is not a goth, she's an actress, you know, but he was convinced that I was Martine McCutcheon. So that was quite embarrassing, really, because it's like, of all the people to be, you know, mistaken for, Martine McCutcheon was somebody that I wasn't expecting to be mistaken for. So that was quite funny. How are you at DIY? Right, now DIY, this could be DIY as in nailing stuff together DIY, putting shelves up and stuff like that. Or it could be like do it yourself as in making your own thing. Right, as regards do it yourself, shelving and that sort of thing, I'm okay. I've managed to, I grew up, my dad was a joiner, so I saw a lot of things when I was growing up of how to do things, of how to put things together, how to construct things. So I could do stuff like that if I really wanted to. I've, you know, put in panes of glass and windows, that sort of thing, when windows were the old-fashioned way when you put putty in them. And so yeah, so I can do that sort of thing. As for other kinds of do-it-yourself, yeah, I like it. I like to rehash clothes and remake things and just kind of give things a bit of a different life than they once had. So yeah, that I like DIY. So do it yourself, yeah, my kind of thing. Quickly describe your ideal wedding. Well, oh gosh, seeing as I'm never going to get married again, I can't see it happening. So yeah, my ideal wedding, gosh. My ideal wedding, I had my ideal wedding when I first got married to my first husband. And it was perfect, and it was very gothic, and I wore a purple and black wedding dress. I had a black veil. We had a hearse as a wedding car, and everyone was instructed to come dressed as vampires or goths or whatever. And it was amazing. So that was pretty ideal. Yes, I would like to get married again, and I would like it to be probably different this time. Very different. Probably a bit more conventional, maybe. I don't know. It's, I say it's not likely to happen, so I'm not holding my breath. Confessional, true or false? I love watching cheesy romantic films. Sometimes I like watching cheesy romantic films. Most often, I don't like watching cheesy romantic films. I have to be in the mood to watch any specific genre of film. Hang on. I always remember to wash off my makeup at night. No, I don't always remember to wash off my makeup at night. I'm quite naughty. Quite often I go to bed with a full face of makeup because I can't be bothered to take it off. And despite what all the magazines tell you, it doesn't do you any harm really, unless you wear contact lenses and you know you can get stuff in your eyes a bit. Yeah, I'm particularly bad at taking my eye makeup off. Very naughty, but I try to now. I try to remember now and try to, you know, take it off. So I sleep with plushies. I don't sleep with plushies. I'm too old to sleep with plushies. I'm getting on a bit now. I wear non-black PJs most nights. I wear PJs, you know. I wear PJs and bed socks and everything, and I like to snuggle down under my duvet. Yeah, I like it. I just wear PJs. I'm not bothered what colour they are. They're pyjamas, you know. They're comfortable. That's all I need in a pair of pyjamas, is that they're comfortable. I still listen to a boy band that disbanded years ago. I don't really do the boy band thing. I never have done the boy band thing. You know, when everybody was into Bros and Take That and Boyzone and even One Direction, whatever, I don't do the boy band thing. You know, I find it a bit cheesy. I think Andrew Eldritch is overrated. No. Well, I don't know. I like Andrew Eldritch. I like the Sisters of Mercy. I'm an old goth fan, so yeah, I like proper old goth music. So yeah, he's not overrated really. Yeah. I don't like vampires. Well, wrong, I like vampires. I don't like clubs. I quite like clubs. I still quite like to go out now and again, go to a club night. We're quite lucky here in Stoke that we have a club night that relates to an old club that was around in the sort of 80s and 90s. That was called Chico's, which was specifically, they specifically had a sort of alternative night. So they played futurist, goths, punk, all that sort of stuff. So it was a brilliant night out, and they hold them about 2 or 3 times a year, and it is just well worth going to, well worth getting dressed up and just going and having a good night. And everybody, you meet everybody on the dance floor, and it's just wonderful. Everybody has a great time. I'm dating a goth or darkly inclined person. I'm not dating a goth or darkly inclined person. I don't enjoy graveyards. Sorry, I enjoy graveyards. I like graveyards. When I first took up photography in the 90s, proper photography with a real camera, I used to photograph graveyards. It was one of my things. I like the statuary and the architecture of graveyards and how they're placed, how they are, well, just everything about them, and you know, especially when they're a bit misty and anyway, yeah, I like graveyards. Yeah, just because they're quiet places, they're very quiet, tranquil places to go and sit. I remember at art college I did some sketching in a graveyard, and it was just wonderful. We spent all day in a graveyard just sketching, and it was wonderful. Just great just to kind of sit there in nature, because you're in nature, aren't you? You're outside, sitting by a tree and just sketching gravestones. Ah, perfect. Blood makes me queasy. Blood doesn't make me queasy. I've worked in hospitals. Blood does not make me queasy. Trust me. Vomit makes me queasy. Blood doesn't make me queasy. I'd sooner faint than pet a spider. No, I quite like spiders. I've rescued several spiders. You know, and seeing as, you know, I'm a single parent, I have to do a lot of spider rescuing. Yeah. I don't like haunted houses. I quite like haunted houses. Depends who's haunting them, I suppose. I've had a few odd experiences down the years that I'll probably go into in other videos about some of the strange things that I've encountered. And yeah, so I don't mind haunted houses. I quite like them. I still browse Hot Topic's clearance racks. Well, seeing as we don't have Hot Topic in the UK, I don't browse their clearance racks even. I've never read Dracula. Wrong, read it years ago. It is a fantastic novel. I like how it's written. I like the fact that it's written in the style it's written. If you've never read it, it's written from the point of view of different people in the story. So you have people writing letters. That's a bulk of the story, and I just like that. I like that it's from different people's perspectives. The films never do the book justice. If you're really into vampire movies and you're really into Dracula, the story of Dracula, and you've seen all the Dracula movies, read the book. If you've never read the book, read the book. It is well worth it. I think Bela Lugosi's Dead is a long and boring song. No, it's not. I like Bela Lugosi's Dead. I've spent many nights on many dance floors dancing along to it. I don't think it's long and boring at all. It's great. It's a brilliant tune. I love it, you know. Sorry, if you don't like Bela Lugosi's Dead, well, too bad. It's okay. It's not for everybody. Right, so those are my Darkling tags. So I would like to tag anybody who wants to do this. Just go for it. You know, why not? Just make a note of the questions and then just answer them and be as honest as possible. And that's what I've been. So anyway, that's me. I would like to say bye-bye. Speak to you soon.